boys and girls, the Junkman coming back at you for video 3 of my Rag Company series. My brother in his garage productions is out in Boise, Idaho at the Rag Company's warehouse, and I decided to knock off some videos because I've got everything right here where I need it. Plus I'm not at home busting my behind doing my real job, so I'm able to knock out some videos since everybody's been requesting videos. They're always requesting videos, and I'm actually covering topics that you all have asked about the most. One of them being pad cleaning. Now, a lot of you who watch my videos know that I use the pad washer from Grit Guard to clean my pads. Now, I tell folks that, and then they go look and see how much it costs, and they about have a heart attack. And I can understand. The first time I saw how much it costs, I about had a heart attack too. Cause I was like, how does this thing work that it costs that much money? Well, our brother in his garage productions has been noticed by some folks, so people sent them to me. So I've like got 2 of those, and I didn't have to pay for them, which was kind of nice. Brother, sure appreciate that kind of love. So, but that's what I use. However, not everybody's gonna go out and spend that money, so they are looking for a way that is a heck of a lot cheaper to clean their pads, and I am going to show you how to do that now with nothing but a little elbow grease, a general purpose terry towel, and some cleaner. And right now Wonder Woman has just shown up on her motorcycle while we're recording. Now she ran away, so, but we're going to continue on. What I'm going to do, the product that I'm going to use is a product that they're now carrying at the Rag Company. It's the Optimum Polishes line. This is called Optimum Power Clean. Optimum Power Clean. And it is basically like one of your all-purpose cleaners. Now, you can tell that you ran across a good all-purpose cleaner because when you spray this stuff, good grief, it will gag you to death. That all of the all-purpose cleaners smell this way. So do not use it unless you are in a well-ventilated area. What I like to do is spray whatever I'm cleaning outdoors before I get close to this stuff. Now, you can use it like on your wheels and different parts of the car for brake dust, but do not spray it like right after you've driven the car, because the fumes will knock you out. It's some strong stuff. This can be diluted. So if you read the instructions on the back, it tells you exactly how to dilute it, what ratio, and what ratio of dilution can be used on what project. Okay, now, I use this to clean some pads that I used on a single stage car. That means when I worked on that car, paint, and it was a black Corvette, the paint came off the car and transferred to the pad. Okay, those kind of pads are hard to clean. Add to that, I left the pad dirty overnight. It sit in the sun while I was doing the clinic, and it stayed dirty overnight. I cleaned it the next day. Before I cleaned it and after I cleaned it, it was a white pad. I used other colors too, but it was a white pad that I wanted to take the pictures of so that you could see how powerful this stuff is. This stuff is brutal, but it gets the job done. So the way I clean pads, like when I'm away from home and I don't have my pad washer with me, is I spray the pad down first, let it soak a few minutes. I make sure I do it outdoors or in a well-ventilated area. And then what I did was I always get a very inexpensive utility towel. Right now, the towel I'm using is a white terry, 14 by 14. And I like using white because I can see the dirt come off the pad, or I don't transfer any dye to the pad. So that's why I like using white. So I'm gonna use that to clean. Now, I'm using a bucket. I usually like to use a deep sink and just cut the water on, let it run. But I'm gonna use a bucket for this video purposes. And I'm gonna get the terry towel good and wet. I'm gonna grab a handful of it, and then all I'm gonna do is scrub the pad with this towel. And as I do that, I can see it come clean. Now, one thing about cleaning your pads, do not do as I did yesterday and let your pads sit overnight. That is the quickest way to have a buildup of dry polish in your pads. And what happens is when you go to use them the next time, and although you may be doing everything right, you will create one of those snowstorms like what you used to get in a little Christmas decoration glass ball full of water. You know, it's like you shuck one of those up. That's what your car will start looking like. So do not let your pads sit dirty for long periods of time, as in overnight, because you just make the job twice as hard. Okay, so now I've got this pad scrubbed clean. Now I'm gonna dunk it in this water, and like I said, usually I do it in the sink. Now the polishes that I use are white in color, so when I wring this pad out, I'm looking for that water to stop being white and turn clear. That's what I do, and you can squeeze them any which way you want. And right now, this pad is clean. The water's running crystal clean. I'm gonna wring it out. Now, if you use the waffle weave style pads, when I do that, I'm using the orange and the white. The white pad, if you don't dry that sucker, one of two ways. If you set it outdoors in the blazing hot sun, you may get it to dry in one day. If you leave it indoors, it may take 2 or 3 days to dry the white pad alone. The orange pad, most of the time, will dry in a day. What I do is I take them outdoors, stand them up, and lean them up against something so that the sun shines directly on them, and that usually gets them to dry pretty quick, especially if it's hot. So that's the way I do those pads. These are the same way. Now, these are the Optimum 5.25-inch pads. They fit the Porter Cable 5-inch backplate perfectly, and they actually fit the Flex 3401 VRG excellent. It's like a direct exact fit. So when you center the pad onto the backplate, you want to make sure you get it exactly right. But what you just saw me do right here now is how I would clean my pads on the road. So I would stand them up. That way the water is draining out instead of trying to drain out through the Velcro backing, and it'll drain out one edge. And if for some reason you absolutely positively have to use that pad again before it is completely dry, at least the only ever so slightly damp spot will be in one section of the pad. Now, you never want to use a wet pad. Okay, so do what you have to do to get that sucker dry. Another trick that I use is set my pads on a box fan and turn that puppy on and let it blow dry them. So that's something you can do. People have asked me, can you wash them in a washing machine? That is something I would never do. And can you dry them in a dryer? No. But here's what I do with a washing machine. When I'm at home and I finish washing my pad, I will stand the pads up in the bottom of the tub of the washing machine, put that joker on spin, past the point where the water is sprayed, and then spin the water out of them. That helps them to dry fast. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, when I say past the point of when the water is sprayed during the rinse cycle or the spin cycle, you will find out the hard way. So find that sweet spot on the dial where the spin is going and it isn't spraying any more water. That's when you stop it, stand your pads up around. What I do is put the face of the pad up against the tub and shoot all that water out of there. And as it's spinning, it'll suck all the water out. And then it speeds up your drying time, okay? So I've got both my pads clean. I'm gonna wring them. That was a little cloudy right there. Stick it under my water here, squeeze it a bunch of times. I'm gonna wring it. That was real clear looking. Wring it. That's looking real clear. Yep. That is pretty much a clean pad. And at this time, I am now ready to leave those pads out to be dried. Now, so that if you are working on a project so that you don't run out of pads and have to sit around and wait for your pads to dry. This is why I tell people, of course, buy more than one pad. The pad that you're going to use the most is going to be the least aggressive of the two. Either the white of the Hexlogic or the blue that's offered by Optimum Polishes of their pads. That's the one you're going to use the least or use the most. The orange, the most aggressive pad, when you fix your paint, you should only have to fix your paint with this pad one time. You should never damage your paint again to the point where you have to use an orange pad. If you do, then you are doing it wrong, okay? You fix all the damage on your paint with the orange pad. Then you take the white or the blue pad and you finesse the paint back to a spit shine. And then from that day forward, you never do the things that caused you to have to use this pad and a compound again. It's just like weight loss. You don't lose 200 pounds, get to your weight that you want to get to, and then start eating like a pig again and gain the 200 back. No, you eat right, exercise, and then you maintain. Same way with your paint. Fix it, eat right, maintain. There you go. That's how you keep your paint looking superb, and you'll never have to do this much work again. All right? So that's pretty much it. I'm enjoying myself out here in Boise, Idaho. The Rad Company was kind enough to fly a brother out here, brother in his garage production, out here to the warehouse. And I'm doing a big old detail clinic tomorrow. So if you're watching this video after July the 25th, you missed it. All right, so that's pretty much it, boys and girls. This is the Junkman, shining out from Boise, Idaho. And I'll see you boys and girls on the rebound. Junkman, shining out.